Hey guys, it's Share Tea and Waffles, and we are back on our new YouTube channel, Connecting the Community. And I would like to introduce you to one of my friends who's doing some really cool work in our community. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. It's Elizabeth Quintanilla, Austin's Marketing Gunslinger and founder of Living with Health. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Elizabeth, we've been in a lot of communication during the shelter in place, and you've been pretty busy with during shelter in place. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe what you're working on to maybe give us some of the backstory and how you got to what you're doing now?
okay, gotcha. So traditionally, I am a marketing consultant, so I'm one of your work from home, bring me in on special marketing ops projects. I love marketing operations and helping businesses become more efficient with their marketing because I know more than 1,001 marketing hacks that could work. And so right now I'm working with Concordia University and the incubator, and we're doing some really cool webinar series. Like today's webinar that we just had was Sherry Matthews, who was created a shirt for women that had mastectomies, and she
Wow.
shared her invention, her innovation, and talked about the patent process. And it was so much fun to see 58 people sign up for that webinar and 48 people attend. And so I get to edit those replays. So as part of my work is I love doing video editing, but also I'll be a trainer for them in an upcoming LinkedIn 201 and 301 series with another marketing collaborator out of San Antonio who's an expert who's actually giving LinkedIn training to people who are transitioning out of the military.
Wow. I love
Yeah.
this, Elizabeth. It sounds like the marketing projects that you're doing. I don't want to put a title on it, but I would call it maybe marketing with soul. It sounds like the projects that you are involved in the community you're involved in are using their skills to make the world a better place.
Well, that's what I like working on because, I mean, that's, the whole point of marketing is to expand in people's brand awareness. We can reinvent the toothbrush, but the toothbrush has been around for 100 years, and I love my Sonicare toothbrush. And part of what I'm also doing on the Living with Health side is encouraging people to live healthier, happier lives. But I'm also using that as a site to illustrate some of the marketing work, because a lot of the marketing work that I do, especially in Austin startup community, it's behind NDAs or non-disclosure agreements. And so people don't all see my skill set in how to increase your efficiency out of your customer relationship management tools, CRMs. They don't understand that I used to be a constant contact trainer, but they got rid of that program. But I'm teaching courses again on all of those. And I want to share people what is good marketing, but also at the same time, how to live healthier lives. And thank you for sharing yesterday's video to your community group, because I really love that book that I promoted
What
on that.
so a couple of things. Can you tell me who that adorable sidekick is with you?
Yes, this is Ellie the Yoda Dog, and she just finished eating lunch. And we had a walk, so now she's passed out. She's an 8-year-old Chihuahua Beagle that I adopted from Austin Pets Alive, and I take her as many places as she can go. So my favorite clients, I will have to admit, let me take her into the office with me.
I know before we sheltered in place and social distancing ever existed, you and I met at the coffee shop, and Ellie was there, and she was the belle of the ball. Everybody wanted to visit with her. She's very
Oh yeah,
popular. Mhm.
yeah, she is having a hard time with social distancing because she doesn't understand why mommy can't give hugs and go see
Mhm.
other humans so that other humans drop scraps.
I want to say
She's
too, I'm wrapped up in my microphone here. I want to say too, I love the fact, you guys out there, if you don't know Elizabeth, she is just fantastic. And she rolls up with this really cute handbag and Ellie on the leash, on a really cute leash. And then this bag opens and this awesome dog bed appears. And I think we had a Starbucks water cup for Ellie, and she was just drinking out of that water cup like she was out with the ladies. I expected her to stand up and start talking. So.
I think she's a human in training. So I'm one of those people who does, I'm a Christian, but at the same time, I believe in reincarnation. I think she's going to be a human in her next life. Let's just put it this way.
She's getting close. So
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you mentioned the book and living with health. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit more, before I forget to ask, like, can you tell us where people can find that site and follow you, and talk a little bit about your journey with living with health, and, you know, the blogs, everything you're doing with it, and how you got there?
Okay, so the site's not built yet. So follow us on Facebook, Living with Health, and find us there. If you see the page with the little seedling as the profile picture, you've come to the right place. And I've intentionally changed the banner to be an Asian woman holding a heart, because one of those things is, with this quarantine, if you're Asian American, it's a hard time right now because people are blaming them. And it's nothing to do with them. It's nothing. So part of this project really stimulated because I was sick for over 10 years with Lyme disease. And then once recovering from that, you'd think I'd stay healthy, but no. I gained like close to 100 pounds, was over 250 pounds. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I was a pre-diabetic, and I changed my life around because I know I need to be taking care of myself, and realizing that because of the Lyme disease, because of the pre-diabetes, I probably have a stronger immunity system to both, because I've been boosting my immunity for years. And I was originally, yeah, and my grandfather was in Mexico. He was a self-taught botanist, biologist, for lack of a better word. He was the herb guy that everybody went to, because there was no such thing as acupuncture in like 1930s Mexico. He was the one who figured out how to use chamomile.
Hmm. Can
And
you tell
so,
us about the chamomile? What did he do with it?
well, I mean, most of the people drink chamomile for teas, and it helps people go to sleep. But there's also all sorts of other things. So I have some really old books. I didn't prepare to necessarily show them, but yeah, I think I have one of them right here. Let's just go here.
We're going on a bit of a field trip. I love it.
Oh yeah, a little bit. But the thing is, I'm opening. It's literally kept in a bag because it's that old.
Wow.
And written, and it's basically, it was originally here. I'm going to flip it over, and it has all of my grandfather's notes. Yes, it's all in Spanish. Yes,
Wow,
but
that is cool.
yeah, but basically it's like, live younger and live more is the direct. And it was actually written by a German and published in Spanish. And this is the 16th edition from 1968. But what's really cool is you can see, and I finally figured out like his backtracked all of his things like this. So here's like how to have a better appearance in the second section.
Wow. And that's your grandfather's highlightings in there?
Yes. And
Wow.
I have two of his books. And so going through this, realizing what he knew and what I didn't learn from him as a kid because I was too much of a snot. So I learned some from my mom, but it's really important. And I did become part of New Skin, and New Skin is a multi-level marketing, but it allows me to have affiliate links because through Amazon, through New Skin, and eventually I'll be part of another, and I'll announce that later, because every day I'm looking for affiliate relationships. And so even like you can sign up as a marketer. I know I need to sign up for Bluehost and as affiliate, because everybody who wants a blog needs to have a host. So I would suggest, please don't find a fly-by-night hosting company. Go with the standard. Like, who hasn't heard of Bluehost or GoDaddy or HostGator? And if you use my links, great. You're supporting my project. It allows me to have more time. Yeah.
Speaking of time, we've been talking, and you've been pretty busy, I know, to get this appointment scheduled to interview. You've been quite the busy lady there, sheltered in place. And I want to add that's virtually, because we are participating in shelter in place. But you started a little bit of a gardening project. We spoke. Yes. Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about the motivation on that, and maybe how that's going a little bit?
Well, the motivation on that is one of those things, and it's going to be hard for people to understand, but before the shelter in place order, a week before our shelter in place order in Austin, Texas, it happened already in Monterey. And earlier that week, I believe on the Tuesday, and they put the order in on Friday to apply to the following Monday, there was a confirmed positive at the internet marketing party.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Luckily for me, I went to meditation that night, but the problem is, as well as I know how interconnected the internet marketing people and the startup people and the downtown people. I'm just going, you waited a week to let people know there was a confirmed positive. And I know how many and it was there during South by Southwest leading up to all of the South by Southwest. So it was one of the last events of 100+ people.
Oh,
So
no.
yes. So I knew back then that I should probably go into quarantine. And so I've been in quarantine for, I think this is week 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Or, I have gone out to grocery stores or Home Depot or some things like that. But, I checked in that first 2 weeks. And so I was like, okay, what can I do to keep myself, productive? And you can't just look at the computer. And I'm not one of those people. I'm making sure I do not watch the Tiger King because I don't want to get sucked in.
Are we going to high five? Sorry to my Rotary pals if you're watching. I haven't watched it. High five.
High
the
five.
Camera. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't get it. We don't have Netflix, and I was like, should I start it back up for that? And I don't get it. Yeah.
I have Netflix, but I am intentionally choosing to avoid watching that show to be productive. Like I have a whole website to build for Living with Health and another project. So the proposal is like, I wanted to do something healthy for myself, and who doesn't love organic vegetables? So unfortunately, I'm not as much of a green thumb as I thought I was.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, but I'm happy to say, and that's Prince over there. He's in the next guard. But I have a little, and these are like different herbs that I have been growing, and those are doing well because some herbs need more shelter than others. But you can see here, I had an invasion of the caterpillar.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And the caterpillar pretty much killed my tomato plants, but my spinach is coming back.
Good.
Oh, yeah. So I'm happy about that. But more importantly, I am actually going to be getting some interesting peppers. So you can see the start of a pepper.
Ooh, and I love how you use the coffee cans. Look at that, you guys. She loves the environment. She's using coffee cans for planters instead of just throwing them into recycling. That's great. I love that, Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's actually radishes. I did not expect my radish seeds to flourish, and eventually you can already see that these are getting tight. So if you can imagine that all of these little seedlings will each have a radish, so they'll eventually all have their own cans. So that was actually a thing of dates. But another trick you can do is, I don't drink dairy, so I don't know if you can see, but what I did was for planters is just here, this is actually lettuce that's growing out of these. And some of them will be more successful than others. But I took the almond milk paper cartons from H-E-B, cut them in half.
Ooh, we drink almond milk over here. I love that idea. That's fabulous. Wow. Yeah. I love this.
Right. And then here's okra and lettuce. And one of the tricks they tell you in gardening is take the ones that are successful and then throw it out. So this is a combination of dirt, compost, and coffee grounds, because coffee grounds actually keep the insects away.
Oh, nice. And I love this. So like, you're living with health for your body, but you're also living with health for your environment. So you really are, which I guess it would seem that not throwing those things into the environment and taking care of the environment will increase your ability to live with health. So I love it. Is that your little, is that where all the planting happens over there where you're at?
Yeah, this is where all the planting happens. But I was just going to say, eventually my old Starbucks cups are going to be actual planters, because at this point in time, Starbucks is actually, you can go in and get coffee grounds for your garden.
Oh, that's right. I remember hearing they were doing that. That's great.
Yeah. And I mean, what they end up doing is giving them to places anyway, and they turn them into compost and
Nice.
mulch. And so
Nice.
I'm just doing it myself. And I do go to Starbucks every day. Yes, that's not local, but I'm supporting people who work there locally. They're on the front lines. And the other
Mhm.
thing right now is, if I could say a call to action, I don't know how quickly this will be actually released, but right now there's a lot of people who are going hungry. And so in my newsletter, I'm going to be pushing, going, please donate to the food bank, because they have a lot of matching programs. And they had to cancel their Reggae Fest. And nobody realizes the
Mhm.
Reggae Fest was actually a fundraiser for the food bank.
Yeah, because you'd bring like we've gone, you bring canned goods and it like you get a discount to get in or free entry or whatnot. So yeah. Yeah, and it's such a
Yeah,
it's a shame too that that's canceled because it's affecting the food bank, which is very, very important. It's affecting the musicians that would play that. It's affecting, I know a lot of, I did concert security back in the day, and that's gig work. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So it is
right.
affecting a lot of people. That's so cool. And I want to say for our viewers, Elizabeth was talking about doing self quarantining. You've when you went to Starbucks and all that, you were quarantined for so long. You know you were good to go. So
Right. Well, I mean,
yeah.
I was suspicious that I was probably pre-exposed before I was really going out there. I did
Hmm.
have enough food for 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and I do have enough pantry. And the good thing is like, I know I have enough to still give my 2 cans every week to my local food bank or food
Hmm.
pantry, because I can walk Ellie to the church, and it's fun to go there. And they're actually right now being very cautious about accepting things, because they grab them with plastic gloves and wipe down the cans with Lysol so
Hmm.
that the recipients don't get sick.
That's a really important thing. Elizabeth, I love this. You're taking care of the environment, you're taking care of others, you're taking care of yourself for your health. How do you feel these days after making all those changes?
I mean, most of the time I feel better, but right now
Mm.
I can say that I've been sick for like a couple of days again. But I'm wondering if
Wow.
it's just allergies, because yeah, the pollen count has been high. But
Hmm.
one of those things is I really am intentional about making sure I have 6 to 9 servings of vegetables a day.
That's wow. And what's your trick? How do you do that? Do you eat them smoothie? What do you do?
No, actually, it's kind of funny. Is like the traditional Mexican breakfast is actually really full of vegetables. If you think what goes into a miga, you got your
Ah.
onions, you got your
Mhm.
jalapenos, throw in some spinach, and then you're having a colorful. Oh, and I do count tomato. I know it's a fruit, not a vegetable, but
We'll let you
but
have that one.
yeah, you can give me my tomato, darn it, because they give out amigas. It's like, okay, we got a jalapeno, we got onion, tomato. I throw in some spinach, and wait a minute, what's the missing thing that we love in amiga taco? Avocado.
Hmm. Yep.
So yeah, and it's just like, okay, if you start looking at traditional, not Tex-Mex, don't smother it in queso. By the way, I'm dairy and gluten free. It's actually relatively healthy. And
Well, yeah.
I was gonna say the jalapenos are actually good for you. They also clear my nose, kind of like wasabi.
Nice. Hey, another thing I didn't get to touch on. You mentioned a book. So the video for the viewers out there, there's this really cool book. I bet she has it right here that Elizabeth told me about and she did her video on. If you go to Living with Health on Facebook, you can see her video. If you go to Friends of Shared Tea, you can see her on Facebook. You can see her video. Can you give us, before we let you go, can you give us just a brief little snippet about that book, kind of like you did in your video, so we can learn
Yeah,
more? Because it's fitness and physical health, but also mental health we want to take care of.
right. Mental and spiritual health, because there's definitely a tie between the brain and the heart. And when you start thinking positive, it's one of my things where I intentionally try to make people laugh every day on Living with Health in my Facebook page, because when you're happy and you're laughing, you don't feel sick.
Mm-hmm. Laughing's
You
great
can't
medicine.
Laughing is a wonderful medicine. And in the book, I did link to the my Amazon affiliate link, and my project will have a lot of affiliate links to support the project, because it has to be sustainable. Um, but this book right here was written by not only the poor son of an alcoholic who who became a neurosurgeon, but lost it all when he was on top and came back. That's the thing. So it teaches you techniques on how to cope with what we, isolation, fear, insecurity. What are these things? And he's actually has a post from Stanford that was partially funded by the Dalai Lama, because it's about using your compassion and empathy for others and developing that. Because when you can start to place yourself in other people's shoes, at least with empathy, you break down barriers. You stop living in as much fear, and you'd look for ways to collaborate.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Sorry, we have a delay. Sorry. I love that, Elizabeth. That's great. Or are you going to say next? Sorry we have a delay.
Yeah, whatever the new normal is, I hope it's a more peaceful, collaborative normal.
Have you heard people talking about realizing, like I know my husband and I were go, 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 go. We've been sheltered in place. And although there's been a lot going on and there's a lot of things to be worried about and sad about, what a delight to be able to say, hey, let's sit in our backyard that's fenced in and safe from everything. Let's sit in our backyard for an hour and just talk, which, I mean, we all talk all the time, but usually our minds are busy, because when we're business as usual, everybody's go, 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 go. And I've heard stories of parents with grown up, like high school children, saying, we sat around and made dinner together from scratch and played a board game. And as much, right? Like, it's really, I think people that are sheltered in place together, these families are connecting. I had a friend who said that they called an uncle they haven't talked to in 10 years and had a lovely conversation. So I think it's not, and you can correct me or put your input on this, I think it's not just physically slowing down, but we mentally are giving our minds room to breathe, so to speak, or to stop and think versus before,
Exactly. And that's important, because Ellie Dog now you get to start to see Ellie Dog as Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Yes, she's Baby Yoda. It's really important because we get to be creative instead of being in a rut. And, there was that great meme. I met this wonderful woman. I didn't know she existed, since all the sports were canceled. It's like, she seems really nice. I'm glad she's my wife.
I had a feeling with the sports where you were going. Yeah, it really, and I think, and I would say to people out there, if you're feeling kind of like, hey, what Elizabeth's saying is really speaking to me, or if you're thinking, gee, I've kind of been doing, this routine while I'm sheltered in place and I'd like to learn more, we're going to put the links in the notes in the comments of this YouTube, and I bet Elisabeth is going to, I'm going to give her this interview to edit, and so she can put on her page and do what she wants with it. So anyways, you'll have a lot of opportunity to connect. So we'll have that tied to anything with this video. But Elisabeth, thank you so much for talking with me today. It was such a treat.
Yeah.
And can you recap with everybody again, if they want to find out more about what you're doing and all these cool projects, can you tell them again where to find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to share all my marketing ideas. I do answer every LinkedIn message, a little bit slow. And you can always email me at elizabeth@marketinggunslingers.com. And my passion project, which also serves as an illustration of what I can do in marketing, as well as really sharing the tips and tricks and sustainability by sharing what I've learned from my grandfather and other people about living with health. And health is both physical, mental, spiritual, financial, and I'm planning on bringing a lot of experts on all of this stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's try and make the new normal a better place than where it was, because obviously we've shown we are all connected.
We're all in it together, right? We're all humans and we're all in this together. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I think this has been one of the most interesting times because we realize we are one common race.
Mm-hmm. Well said, Elizabeth. Thanks again for being here. You guys reach out to Elizabeth. I know she'd love to talk with you. And thanks again, Elizabeth. You be well. Take care. And I know I'll be chatting with you online again very soon. And everyone out there, be well. Take care of yourselves. Share Tea and Waffles signing off. And we hope to see you in real human time in the future. Bye, everybody.
For sure. Bye.